Dr. Hooker's experiments.
Magician Chuck Caputo here. You folks probably recognize me from my videos and some of my magic props. But I am here to show you something that's very unique. I'm telling you about it first of all, then I'll demonstrate it. I've always been interested in the history of magic. And throughout the years, I was fortunate enough to know many of the notables in magic, such as Del Rey, Bob Klein, and several others as well. Now, this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal. We're going to film this in the segment where I'm telling you about things, then I'll make a demonstration. So please stand by. All right. In 1918, some publications say 1917. I can't get a definite year on this, but let's say 1918. There was a gentleman in Brooklyn Heights. He was a retired scientist. His hobby was magic. His name was Dr. Samuel Hooker. He invited all the notables in magic, the who's who of magic. We're talking Houdini, Harry Keller, Theo Bamberg, Adelaide Herman, and the list goes on. He had a stage built in his house, in his carriage house. I believe it held 20 people, if I'm not mistaken. But they were in for a surprise, a magic show like none other. Because when they were seated, Dr. Hooker had several little tables on stage. They weren't blocked, they were in full view. And he had a roulette, which is a fairly standard item for us magicians. And he would borrow a pack of cards, have it shuffled, pull a card out, have it selected, and they would be signed. He'd place it into the pack, shuffle it, place the pack into the roulette. He'd get a rather large bell jar, probably 2.5 feet tall, 3 feet tall, covered up. On his command, the card would slowly rise. Now that in itself is an amazing effect. But here's the part that caught my eye many years ago when I read one of the articles. It would float above the roulette as if to defy all reason. It would stay there. He'd snap his fingers, would go back down into the roulette. When it took the bell jar off, the cards would fly up into the air. Amazing. Other effects that he did was he had a card named, so it was basically any card called for. It would rise up and so forth. It was just amazing. The second item he built was a teddy bear head. He called the bear Batilliades. And he would have it was basically just a head with almost like a Victorian ruffle around it, around its neck. So it was a disembodied head. He'd show the head, place it onto another little circular stand, cover it with another bell jar. The bear would blink its eyes. It would clack its jaw in answer to questions. The part that really stunned the audience is it would float. It would levitate in the bell jar and come back down. So it was just totally amazing. Okay, let me check my notes. I have some things written here. Let's get some light on the subject if I can. Oh, perfect. All right, Dr. Hooker. Let's see. He was born in 1864 in England. He moved to the United States. He passed away in 1935. And like I said, the performance was 1918, 1917, but he was working on this bizarre experiment since 1914. Let's get rid of the light. I don't think I need it. All right. A couple other things I have written here. Let's see here. Okay, a couple of observations. If you read any of the articles. Oh, let me show you what Samuel Hooker looked like. Here's a picture of him. He was a large man. I read he was about 6'4". So he was a rather large guy. Here we have a blow-up of Samuel Hooker. And there were several publications about the effects that I'm telling you about. Here is Paul Burr's review written by his friend John Mulholland. Very interesting. And I was fortunate enough to get this many years ago. And there was a couple publications. Here's Magic Magazine. And I'll tell you about this guy a little bit later on who ended up getting the actual original Hooker outfit. All right, and here's Genie Magazine. It came out as well. A beautiful write-up in there. Okay, but anyway, let me tell you a little bit more if I can. Oh, a few of the observations, which is what I was getting at, was that this was not a portable act. Okay, Dr. Hooker cannot take this on the road with him. So it actually had to be performed on his stage at his home in his theater. So that'll give you a little inclination of how this thing works, which I do believe I know how it works. So that's the main thing that always stuck in my head. I was thinking, it'd be cool to create a portable version. Let's see what else they have here. I was always interested in the classic magic. Okay, I'm a big fan of Robert Houdin, Hofzinser. Now, if you follow my channels, you know that I have recreated several of these effects. Throughout the years, I've actually recreated Robert Houdin's Antonio Diablo, which is the trapeze artist. So go and check that out. If you go on YouTube and search Antonio Diablo, Chuck Caputo, my friend Eddie Rivera has the sole rights to this video. He's House of the Unusual. But anyway, I had recreated the little trapeze artist. And by little, I mean, I got him down to 16 inches from head to toe. I think the original was 36 inches. So the one I built is really cool. And I even put my own twist to it. He vanishes at the end in a puff of smoke from the trapeze. I also recreated the Pastry Chef by Robert Houdin. This was sold to a magic collector. I still have the Antonio Diablo. I'm probably not going to sell that, but the Pastry Chef, where the little chef goes into the little French bakery, the doors open up. The spectator selects a pastry, and a light comes on, and he's rolling the dough out with a rolling pin. The light goes out. After a few seconds, he comes back out with a tray, and he's holding the selected pastry. So you can view that as well. I also replicated von Kumplen's automated chess player, but this is a tabletop version. I make things much smaller, okay, because nowadays you cannot bring these gigantic things around. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is I have recreated my version, my interpretation of the genius of Dr. Hooker. And this would be the floating cards and the disembodied teddy bear head. Now, all credit goes to Dr. Hooker. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. This man was a genius, plain and simple. But here's a little poster that I had made up. This is the Hooker Experiments by Chuck Caputo. All right. And as far as I know, there was never any other attempt to actually build this. I am so far the only one. And it is much smaller. Like I said, I do not use the gigantic bell jars. Mine can be set up in a person's living room with no special backdrops or anything, and it is much smaller. Here's the actual notes throughout the years. I had copied the notes. I've been working on this for several years. There's a tremendous amount of engineering and thought that went into this. Now, like I said, this is my interpretation, which you will shortly see. Some things cannot be done. Other things I was able to do. I did put a twist with the teddy bear head, which I think you'll be surprised. This is the actual teddy bear head that I use. This is Multiliades, I guess the fourth instead of the third. But this head is pretty cool. It can be shown all around, and you will see what it does a little bit later on. But anyway, I think that covers just about everything. Oh, and this outfit is for sale. I usually do not sell too many things nowadays. Everything you see in the video is for sale. The tables, the stands, everything. Okay, it is not cheap. So serious collectors only, please. You know how to contact me. I'm not hard to find. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you have a great day and enjoy yourself. Hi, Sherry. This is the demonstration of the Dr. Hooker experiments. I have several items here. We have a dome. Here we have a houlette. And here we have a little base. All right, and I'd like to show you the star of the show right over here, which happens to be my little friend. I guess this is Multiliades the fourth, because Dr. Hooker used the third. And it's a bear head. You can show it all the way around. I'd like to show you the height of the actual bell jar, because it is rather deep. Now you can see that, look at the distance. He could go all the way up, and we're going to place him onto the base of this right in front of your eyes. We'll put him dead center, okay? And I'm going to cover him up so he's untouched by human hands. What I have here, Sherry, happens to be a pack of playing cards. Now I'm going to have a card selected. You're going to have a card selected. Okay. Now my favorite card in the whole world I'm telling you right now, if you noticed in my videos, I always use the 5 of clubs for some reason.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get this out. Does any card particularly appeal to you?
Oh, you know, I like the King of Hearts.
King of Hearts. Oh, okay, because I'm your king.
Yeah, that's right.
And these cards can be borrowed. They
Okay.
can be shuffled.
Nice.
They are not gimmicked in any way.
All right.
Now, I'm going to sign your card. Your hands are a little bit busy right now.
You're right.
And we'll just basically write Chuck haphazardly.
Okay.
All right. And so we have your card.
Yes.
And we have my card.
Okay.
Now, mine will not be signed. We're just going to more or less fan these cards. I'll place my card into the pack. And I have no idea where it is or what it is. Actually, I know what it is, but I don't know where it is. Now, your card, we're going to get it. And I'm going to bury it into the pack like so. Now, sometimes I get lucky. Is your card on top? Well, I don't see any writing, so I guess it's not. All right. Now, these cards are rather old, believe it or not. I tried to make it as authentic as possible. And these are rather old cards. Let me get this cloth here, and I'm going to basically just wipe these a little bit. Like I said, they are in pretty bad shape. I probably should have invested in another pack of cards. But what I'm going to do is we're going to more or less get these cards, and I'm going to place it into the houlette like so. You like that word? Okay. All right. All the way down inside. We're going to push them in like so. And let me give it one final push to make sure everything is in okay. Now the tricky part. We're going to cover up the houlette.
Oh, okay. Houlette.
Once again, so it is untouched by human hands.
Okay.
Let me stand over here.
All right.
Now, let's put a little music on, Sherry, to help the ambiance a little bit.
Sure.
All right. Now let's reaffirm what has happened. 2 cards were selected, correct?
That's right.
All right. Your card was signed.
Yes.
Mine was not. All right. And this hasn't been performed since 1918, except for when John Gaham performed this in 2007. So we'll see what happens. What I'd like you to do is to concentrate on the cards, if you would.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
It is slowly rising.
It is.
And it is signed, is that correct?
That's true. And it's smoking.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
But watch, because it will defy the laws of gravity.
Oh my word. Look at that.
Watch.
Whoa.
I'd like it to go back down if it's possible.
It is. Look at that.
All the way inside.
That's magic.
All right.
Wow.
Now, once again, let's recap what happened, Sherry. The card was signed. It rose above the pack. And it has descended into the pack itself. And it pretty much went above the houlette. Am I right? Okay. Yes, it did. It was actually floating. Now, what I'm going to do is approach the pack of cards, and I'm going to remove the houlette.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens, honey.
All right. What I'm going to do is remove it.
Okay.
Watch the playing card, Sherry. Watch.
Whoa.
Oh! As you
my
can see,
word.
none of these are my cards, I don't believe so, are they?
No.
But your card is indeed here.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to leave that in here.
Okay.
And I'm going to stand aside again and watch the teddy bear. Watch. Because this is so amazing, Sherry. Now, my card was, I believe, the 5 of clubs. Is that correct?
Your favorite. Yes.
All right. We'll see what happens. Watch. Concentrate on my 5 of clubs, Sherry, because the teddy bear will find it. Watch as he slowly starts to rise. Very good. All the way up. And I'd like you to come back down, please. Now let's recap what happened here, Sherry.
Okay.
Your card was selected.
Yes.
And your card defied the laws of gravity and floated above the houlette.
Yes.
My card was selected and it hasn't been found yet. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. What I'm going to do is approach the teddy bear and I'm going to remove the bell jar. And I'd like you to watch his mouth. Let's see what happens here. Watch. As you can see, a card is protruding from his mouth.
Yes.
And was this my card?
Yes, it was.
All right. So we're going to put Matilliades up here, and he could be freely moved. Now, a lot of people are probably going to ask, how did you do this, Chuck? Was there an ethereal motive behind this? I don't know myself. But here's the table the Matilliades was on. And what's cool about this is I can just rub and look at this.
Whoa.
The table floats. Simply amazing.
Nice.
So there you have an unusual production. It's a classic, actually. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Have a great day.